ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु, सहनौ भुनक्तु, सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै, तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवमुपास्महे। ओम श्री हयग्रीवाय नमः। ओम श्री वल्लभा समेत श्री महागणाधिपतये नमः। We were discussing the topic of anubhutehe nityatva upapattih. In this, the last discussion was about samvit. Samvit or samvit is awareness or consciousness, you can say. But the Vishishtadvaitins say that samvit is anadi, but it is having an end. Okay, it may be beginningless, but it ends like that. Ramanuja has said. With reference to that, there was a discussion that samvit, of course, for the Vishishtadvaitins, samvit is separate from Atma. Atma is different, samvit is different. So that's why they talk like that. And in this context, it was said that samvit, whatever you say, they say that it has vikara, it modifies and all that. But finally, we established that all modification is only aupadhika. Okay, it is due to the upadhi, the vikara is there in the samvit, or at least the manifestation of samvit in the vritti. Basically, the vritti is the upadhi. The modification or vikara of the vritti is taken as the vikara of samvit or anubhava, which is not really modifying or anything. But in the case of ghata patadi, the vikara is swabhavika, it was said. It is part of their nature because they are all born and they have to have vikara. Shadbhava vikara is there for anything which is born. So the argument here is anything which is unborn cannot have the Shadbhava vikara. Now in this context, they always bring in avidya. So you also say avidya is anadi, or maya or prakriti is anadi, but it is parinami upadana karanam and all we say, correct? It is having vikara. Now for that only Vellangonda gave the answer that anaditvam is different from ajayamanatvam. Like that he makes a difference here. Even though we have to say that this avidya, maya also, they have birth, okay, because they come from this unmanifest to manifest, let us say, which is what we call birth. But anadi we say because we don't know when it began, because along with time all these things come into existence, correct? Like even the dream starts. Within the dream, we don't know when the dream has started, but the dream started along with dream space time and all that. That much we have to say. Whatever started the dream, the samskaras, it became active along with the dream space and time. Like that, even avidya and maya and all these things also, they have a janma, and he quoted the Shruti also here. The Nrisimha Uttaratapaniya Upanishad says, Mayancha Avidyancha Swayameva Bhavati. I think that was the quote. So the point here is they are born by themselves, in the sense that even Brahman cannot be said as a Karana for that, because Brahman becomes a Karana only from the standpoint of Maya or Avidya. So the Upanishad also says Swayameva Bhavati. And in the tradition also it is said that avidya, maya and all is swapara nirvahakaha, like that it is talked about them. So they establish their own existence and also establish the existence of all other things. So like that we accept for avidya, because avidya itself doesn't have any other karana. Even from the standpoint of avidya, although we say Brahman is adhisthana, Brahman is adhisthana for everything, that there is no question. But avidya doesn't have a karana prior to that. So from that standpoint, it is anadi, but still it is born, because the Upanishad says swayameva bhavati. Anyway, so this points and all we saw already. So finally he says that vikara itself means it is always mithya only, correct? You don't even have to give a visheshanam like that, specially. So he says mithya bhuta visheshanantu na deyam vikarasya mithyatva avyabhicharat. So vikara and mithya are not separate, because vacharambanam vikaro namadheyam rittiketyeva satyam and all is there even in the Upanishad. Anything which is a vikara is mithya. There is no, you don't even have to give uh, uh, an unnecessary adjective. Okay, my Guruji was very particular about usage of words. He would say that don't use redundant adjectives. It doesn't convey anything. Most probably it will end up confusing people. So, like that he is saying you don't even have to give mithya bhuta visheshana to vikara, because vikara itself is mithya only always. But in the case of samvit or anubhava, the vikara is actually aupadhika. Therefore, it doesn't have any real vikara. It is vikara vihina only, the samvit, and it is nitya, swaprakasha, and it is only one. Okay. So, ekacha samviditi siddhantaha. This is the siddhanta we saw up to this. Now, continuing, he says, now this samvit itself is one, correct? That is challenged. So, nanu na eka samvit vibhaktatva. So, they say samvit is not one. There are many conscious beings, correct? Many sentient entities. And samvit is therefore divided. It is vibhaktatvat. There are many samvits. Okay. And so, what is the explanation? So, he is saying, nacha ajatvat samvit swasmin vibhagam na sahate iti vachyam. Okay, now the Purva Pakshi is saying, we are saying what? If he says samvit is divided, we say no, no. Samvit is never born. It is an unborn entity, so it cannot be divided also. Vibhagam na sahate. Why? Ajatvat. Because it is an unborn entity. Only that which is born in time, it is distinct in all ways. It is distinct from other objects. It is distinct. It has distinctions within itself also. But samvit being unborn, that is not possible. If we say the Purva Pakshi is saying what? Na vachyam. Don't say that. Why? Because here you see ajasya eva atmanaha dehadibhyaha vibhaktatvat. So one of the things they are saying is atma is aja. Okay, but it is divided. It is distinct from the deha, etc. And also, if you say aja and all that, even you people say avidya is anadi. Again, he is coming to that. So anadehe api avidyayaha atmanaha vitirekasya avashya ashrayaniyatvat. So you have to definitely accept something. What? That avidya and atma are different. They are not the same. And even though avidya is anadi, avidya is different from atma. So even for an anadi vastu, there are distinctions are there from other things. And in by itself also it will have distinction. Then it can have many anadi atmas, or many anadi samvit is possible for them. Atma is different from samvit anyway. Okay. Now what does the Advaitin say? Sa vibhagaha mitya bhutaha iti chet. So now if the Advaitin says, no, any vibhaga, any distinction, difference Swagata Beda they are talking about, correct? Or in fact, in this case, they are talking about Sajatiya Beda, we have to say, not even Swagata Beda. So the same jati, there are many individuals are there, many instances of the same class. Okay, in modern language, if we have to say. So we are saying it is a singleton. In in programming language, we have to say it is a singleton. It has no, the constructor is private. Okay, but they are saying no, no. Sa vibhagaha mityabhutah iti chet, what now he is saying, janma pratibaddaha paramartha vibhagaha kim kochid drishtaha tvaya. Okay, now the Advaitin is saying that which is having a janma, correct? Janma pratibaddaha means that which is connected to a janma, means a birth. That which is having birth, whether it is paramartha or it is it is not paramartha. Okay, paramartha vibhagaha kim kochid drishtaha tvaya. So for that, this vibhaga is there or not, and that is it real? Like that, have you seen anywhere? If we ask also, then what the Vishishtadvaitin is saying, avidyayaha atmanaha paramartataha vibhaga abhave vastutaha hi avidya eva syad atma iti Ramanujaha. So janma pratibaddaha paramartha vibhagaha, that which is born, does it have really a difference? Why we are asking this is, we say karya is ananya from karana, correct? So that is the Harambana Shruti is there, and Brahma Sutra also is there for that, correct? Tad ananyatva arambhana shabdadibhyaha. So that which is born, the karya, is non-separate from the karana. So do you think that the difference is real? Have you seen the difference anywhere? Means still what Ramanuja is saying, you can say that karya and karana are one and the same and all that, but still avidya and atma have to be different really. Paramartataha vibhagha. Okay, if it is not there, what will be the problem? Vibhaga abhave, then avidya itself will become atma, he is saying. So vastutaha hi avidya eva syad atma. So atma itself will be avidya then. That is not ishta. Therefore you have to accept that Veda is there. It is all vibhakta. Divisions are there. Therefore you have to accept there are many samvits. So if you give an argument like this, it's not correct. Ma evam vai samvid avibhakta ajatvat व्यतिरेकेण घटाधिपति प्रयोगे हेतु साध्ययोः व्याप्ति अभावः यः त्वया दर्शितः स न उपपद्यते. Okay, so now the Advaitin is giving a anumana. What is the anumana? The anumana is based on a vyatireka vyapti. Okay, so here we are saying samvid is not vibhakta, it is not divided, or there is no distinction in that because it is unborn. And what is the vyatireka vyapti we are giving? Ghata adivat, unlike ghata. Okay, vyatirekena ghata adivat means unlike ghata, etc., which is born. Whatever is born, in many instances of its birth will be there, correct? Therefore, it is different from the others which are also born. Like that, whatever is born alone can be produced many times also, correct? Many instances of that can be produced. The unborn, being unborn itself, cannot be having many instances of it, correct? It has to be born again and again to have many instances. So that is not possible. Unlike Gata, etc., anything which is having birth. In this, Ramanuja is saying, okay, what is he saying? But still you have to say that avidya and atma are different, and therefore this vibhaga is there. It will be different from something else. At least you have to accept. So your hetu is not correct. There is still vibhaga even between an unborn atma and an unborn avidya. Okay. So this, whatever you are showing, that means it is called hetu abhasa. Correct. The hetu we gave is not correct. It is having a problem. Like this, they are pointing out, but uh, that whatever hetu abhasa they are pointing out, correct, that our vyapti is not there really. That is not correct, we are saying. Okay, hetu sadhyayoho vyapti abhavaha yaha tvaya darshitaha, whatever you showed before, that doesn't, that is not tenable. Why? Samvidaha eva atmatvena tad avibhaktasya eva sadhyatva. So the first samvid and atma are not two different things. Okay, samvid and atma are one and the same. Anubhava and Atma also is one and the same. Atma is Anubhuti Swarupa. Atma is Samvit Swarupa. Samvit means Chaitanyam only is Samvit. So, Samvidaha eva Atmatvena tad avibhaktasya eva, and Atma is not divided. Even for you, Paramatma is one and it is unborn. Okay, and that is what we are trying to also establish, correct? Tad avibhaktasya eva sadhyatva. That is the sadhya for us. That is what we want to establish. And already we said that avidya you cannot compare. Why? Because avidya has janma. We accept that. Avidyayascha ajatva bhavasya uktatva. Already we have shown. So don't compare avidya with samvit and atma. They are not the same. Even so, we have accepted that avidya is swayameva bhavati. Shruti also is there. Okay. So once we say this, they come back. What do they say? Nacha dehadi vilakshanatvad anubhuti rupaha atma dehadibhyaha vibhaktaha eva iti vachyam. So even if you say atma is anubhuti, it is still different from deha, etc. You have to say dehadi vilakshanatvam is there. Atma may be anubhuti rupaha, but anubhuti, anyway, even Advaitin is doing atma anatma viveka. Correct? There is atma anatma viveka is there. Therefore, it has to be different from deha, etc. If you say that, we say no. Why? Because Taittiriya Upanishad is there. There are so many other Upanishads also. What? Atmanaha akasha sambhutaha. Tasmad etasmad atmanaha akasha sambhutaha. Akashad vayuhu vayoragnihi. Agnerapaha adhya prithvi. Prithivya oshadayaha. Oshadibhyonnam annat purushaha. So in that, if you take, everything is covered. Okay. Akasha up to Purusha, from insentient Mahabhutas to sentient Purushas and beings, everything is Atma Karya. Therefore, they are all Ananya. Karya is Karana Ananyatvam. Therefore, what we are saying, Ityadi Shrutya, Sarvasya Atma Karyatvena, Atma Abhinnatvat, Nahi Mridaha Vidyate Ghataha. Like even pot is not separate from clay. None of these things are separate from Atma. Therefore, they are all Vibhakta. Also, you cannot say. Dehadi, from the Dehadi, Atma is different, distinct, you can't say, because only Atma is appearing as all these things. Okay, even if we say this, what? Evam Atma Shaktitvena Avidyapi Atma Abhinna Eva. Okay, even Avidya also, if you take, Avidya also is not separate from Atma for us. It is also like, it is also Maya Shakti only, correct? So, like even one hi Shakti hi, one hi Abhinna, and you cannot separate the Shakti of fire from Shakti itself. Shakti mat bheda we don't accept. Therefore, what? Yaditu. But once we say this, they come back. And what they will say? That's what. See, yadi tu karyasya karana abhinnatvepi karanam karyat it should be. Okay, there is a printing mistake here. Karanam karyat bhinnameva shaktehe shaktimad abhinnatvepi shaktiman shaktehe bhinnaha eva iti uchyate. Okay, if you say, now to the Purva Pakshi we are saying yaditu. If you say that karya and karana, when you see, karya is not separate from karana, but karana is separate from karya, you have to say. Okay, karanam karyat bhinnam. Similarly, shakti shaktimat bhava also, the shakti may not be different from the shaktimat, but the shaktimat is different from the shakti, you have to say. Okay, if you say like that, then we are asking tarhi, then kim tvam paramartataha deha dehe avidyayascha bhinnaha atma iti brushi. Okay, or what yadva vyavaharataha. So now we are asking, are you saying this difference is paramartha or vyavahara? Now na adyaha, it cannot be paramartataha bhinna. Paramartataha deha dehe avidyayascha abhavena. Paramartataha, they are all negated. They cannot be there really. Neha nanasti kinchana yatra dvaitam iva pashyati. All these things, lot of shrutis are there which negate. Sarvam khalvidam brahma. So, paramartataha deha dehe avidyayascha, they are all what? Abhavena tat prayukta vibhagasya durotsarittatva. So, if they are not there really only, then what is the question of talking about vibhaga and all that? Okay, it is all vibhaga is has gone far away. It is not there. Okay, they are not there paramartataha. Therefore, what? Etena avidyayascha atmanaha paramartataha vibhaga bhave vastutaha api avidya eva syad atmeti nirastham. Okay, from this, one more thing also is gone. What? You said that if you say that avidya and atma are one and the same, then atma itself will become avidya. That is also gone because there is nothing called avidya separately in reality. That argument also is gone. Okay, that atma will become avidya. That argument also is negated. Then what? Why? Because vastutaha avidyayaha eva abhavat, and avidya also is not there really in reality. But if you say it is vyavaharataha, it is ishtaha eva for us. Dvitiyaha ishtaha eva. Why? Nahi vayam yavad vyavaharam deha dehe avidyayascha atmanaha vailakshanyam nishedhamaha. So we are not negating in vyavahara the difference between dehadi and avidya and the atma. That is the atma anatma viveka one has to do in fact. Okay. So, and there is a shloka also is quoting. Kintu shlokaha. What is that shloka? And this is the atma anatma viveka. Correct. Even most of these things like Dasha Shloki or Nirvana Shatkam, all these things are basically atma anatma viveka only mainly. Correct. Naham dehaha, na indriyani antarangaha, na hankaraha, प्राणवर्गः न बुद्धिः धारा अपत्य क्षेत्र वित्तादि धरः. ओके, साक्षी नित्यः प्रत्यगात्मा शिवोहम इति वदामः. So we do say we are not any of these things. Correct. I am not the deha, nor the indriyas which are there inside, nor even the ahankara. The I thought also comes and goes. It is not my swabhava. Even when the I thought is not there, I am there as the consciousness. Then even prana, etc., buddhi, and even external things like wife, children, whatever house you live, kshetra, wealth, all these things also, it is all not really, I am not that. I am only the Sakshi, witness, Nityaha, because I am the invariable and unchanging reality in each and every cognition. Correct? So Nityaha, Pratyagatma, Shivoham. This is what we say. Okay. This Atma Anatma Viveka one has to do continuously till yourself transforms, till you don't take yourself as a human being anymore. So your identity with reference to all these things have to be overpowered, because that is very habitual, correct? You have to overcome that habitual tendency and rest in your real identity, which is that I am this infinite, limitless conscious being who does not lack anything really, correct? Who is also Sukha Swarupa, Ananda Swarupa. Therefore, what? Tasmad avibhakta eva samvid ajatvat samvid adirikta vibhakta vibhakta okay vibhakta ajavastu abhavat cha na anubhavasya anumanasya dushtatvam iti. Okay, so finally what he is saying, therefore whatever anumana we gave is proper, because other than samvid there is nothing which is unborn. Okay, samvid ajatvat and samvid atirikta vibhakta aja vastu abhavat. So other than the samvid, some other thing distinct from samvid which is unborn, like that there is nothing like that. Everything else doesn't exist really. Therefore that anumana holds good. It is not dushta. It is not a defective anumana. The anumana is proper. Okay. Once we say this, what they come back, they are saying nanu nirvikaratvat samvidaha swagata bedaha mastu. Okay, samvid need not have swagata beda because it doesn't change. Nirvikari. Deha dehe avidyayascha mithyatvat vijatiya bedaha mastu. Okay, deha etc. are all not really there. They are all mithya. So there is no vijatiya beda also. But what about sajatiya beda? He is now coming to sajatiya beda. Okay. So the sajatiya beda, he is saying, what is he saying? There are many samvits. All your arguments till now does not negate sajatiya beda. So sajatiya bedastu vidyate samvit nanatva. But in fact, really, ajatvam, as I said, can be a hetu for sajatiya beda also. Correct? That which is not born cannot be, for it to have, or you have to say there are many unborn instances are there like that. But that is again a stretch, I think. Something has to be born multiple times to have multiple instances of that, correct? Anyway, so sajatiya bedastu vidyate samvit nanatvat, that is their argument now. So for this, what do we say? Nacha samvit nanatvam asiddham iti vachyam. Okay, if we say samvit nanatvam is not established by any pramana, anything, you cannot say. Why? Why? Because he is saying abadhita pratipatti siddha drishya bheda samarthanena darshana bhedaha api samartitaha eva chedya bhedat chedana bhedavad iti. Okay, now the logic they are giving is, see, if there is a vastu and there is an action like cutting, okay, now many cuttings are happening means, correct, many vastus are cut, then the cutter also, there has to be many cutters because many cuttings are taking place. So when there are many cuttings, chedya beda, and you are cutting many trees and many branches and whatever, chedana bedavad, okay, the one which cuts also, the cutting and the cutter and all, there has to be many. This is their argument. Similarly, here what he is saying, this abhadita pratipatti is saying. What he is saying is pratyaksha itself is abhaditam, he is saying. Pratyaksha jnanam of vastus are there, gata, pata, etc. And in that the drishya bheda is there. And if the drishya bheda is there, cognitions are also many. Okay, in this, one more important point we have to understand from their standpoint. We think samvit means there are many sentient beings. For them, even that is not required. Even in one being, the Atma is different from samvit. For them, samvit is each and every cognition. That's all. So, what he is saying is the samvit, which is actually revealed when the cognition takes place. For them, when the cognition takes place, both the object and the knower are revealed. Okay, that's how the Swaprakashatam is their argument originally. So that samvit is many. That is good enough for them. Okay, even in one knower, the knowings are many. That you cannot deny. Because the samvit is connected to knowing. The knowing action, correct? Action of knowing. So that's why he is saying if there are many cuttings are there, because there are many things which are cut. Similarly, here many things are known, therefore there must be many knowings, which is pointing to multiplicity of samvit. Sajatiya Bheda is there. Okay. Now for this first we say what? Iti chen ma evam. See, just because there are many actions, there may not be many actor, correct? The actor can be one only. So what he is saying is prakashya gata patadi bhedepi yatha prakashasya na bhedaha tata drishya gata patadi bhedepi na darshana bhedaha. So what we are saying is even the many action need not be there. That's what he is pointing out. Because there are many vastus, but all of them are lighted up by one lighting and one light. Correct? You switch on the light, everything in the room is lighted up. Different vastus which are there. It may be a pot, it may be a cloth, etc. So the objects may be many. They are all lighted up by only one light. So there it's only one lighting is there really. Okay. Similarly, this drishya gatapatadi beda may be there, but darshana is only one, he is saying. Na darshana beda ha. Okay. Further what? Or otherwise we have to say what? Okay. This is one way of putting it. The otherwise he is saying yadva ghatadi vishaya bhedat tad akara vritti jnana bhedaha astu nama. Okay, you say ghatadi bheda, vishaya bheda is there. Each vishaya is cognized by the vishayakara vritti, correct? That we accept. Vishayakara vritti, in that there is a bheda because each vishaya has its own vritti, which takes the akara of the vishaya, which takes the form of that vishaya. And vritti jnana bheda, let it be there, we accept. Vritti jnana bhedaha astu nama. Okay. But katham punaha samvid bhedaha. But from that, how do you say that samvid is many? Or there is no vibhakti in samvid. There is no manyness there. Samvid nanatvam is cannot be established even then. Okay, even if you accept the vritti nanatvam, samvid nanatvam is not there. So nahi samvid kriya chedanavati. Why? Because samvid is not doing any kriya like cutting. Also, samvit is not born also. Napi janya chedanavati. So, samvit is not a kriya. Samvit is also not something which is born. A kriya like cutting starts. Correct? It has a beginning. Like that, samvit doesn't have a beginning. Samvit is also not an action. But kriya is fulfilling all that. So, vrittis tu kriya janya cha iti chedana tulya eva. But vritti is similar to cutting and all that because vritti is a kriya because vritti taking the akara of the vishaya is the kriya and it is born. It has a beginning and it has an end also. Therefore, Only the vritti is similar to the Chedana Kriya, not Samvit. Therefore, what do we say? Etena Atma Jnanatvam Pratyuktam Samvidaha eva Atmatvatiti. Also, from this, what we say, whatever argument we gave for Samvit also applies to Atma. Because for them, Atma and Samvit are different. Okay. So what Bellankonda is pointing now is whatever argument I gave for Samvit, it applies to Atma also. Therefore, there is no Atma Nanatvam also you cannot say, because for us Atma and Samvit are one and the same. Okay. So Atma Nanatvam Pratyuktam Samvidaha eva Atmatvatiti. So Samvit being the Atma, from this we have also established that there is no Atma Nanatva. That also is negated. Therefore, Tasmat Samvidaha Aupadikaha eva Vedaha yata Gaganasya iti. Therefore, the Samvit Bheda or Atma Bheda is all only Aupadhikaha. It's all due to Upadhi. Like even the space is divided into part space and all that, correct? So, Ghatakasha, Mahakasha iti Bhedaha, how it is there due to Upadhi. Okay. Now what? They come back. He's saying, Nanu Ghatakaraka Divyatirekena Labda Sadbhavasya Gaganasya Bhedaha Gatadi Upadi Kritaha iti astu. Okay, now he's saying, okay, Gata, Karaka, etc. are there. And but the Gagana is something other than Gata Karaka. Correct? So Gata Karakadi Vyatirekena Labda Sadbhavaha, he is saying. Gaganasya. Labda Sadbhavasya Gaganasya is there. So the space is having an existence which is different from Gata, etc. Therefore, what? And therefore, Gata, etc. can be a conditioning factor for space. Gatadi Upadi Kritaha iti astu. So let it be that. But this Samvit, what you are saying, is never available separately from Nyaya and Nyatru, he is saying. So Nyaya Nyatru Vyatirekena Labda Alabda Sadbhavasya Jnanasya Katam Aupadika Bhedaha. This Jnana which is never available separately, how can it have Aupadika Bheda? It is only manifest when the cognition takes place. Okay, the awareness or consciousness. Therefore, it has to be the nature of the cognition itself, correct? So, or it has to be there. Really, it is different. If it is available separately, then you can say something else is conditioning it and making it appear as many. But it appears only along with the knower, and the knowledge itself is our consciousness or awareness appears along with the knower and known always. Therefore, there cannot be aupadika bedaha. Katam aupadika bedaha. Kintu swabhavika bedaha eva. But it is swabhavika beda, he is saying. Sanyogadivaditi. Okay, see, this Nayayikas talk about Samavaya and Samyoga and all that. Okay. So Samavaya, they don't accept Veda because that is the Guna Guni are all having Samavaya Sambandha, but they are one. Okay. Like that, but two things coming together. Samyoga means there is a Veda. In Samyoga, there is Veda. In Samavaya only, there is no Veda according to Nayayika. So here also, there is Samyoga is there. And as a result of Samyoga only, this Samvit itself is there. It is born. Therefore, Swabhavika Beda, the Beda there between all these things are Swabhavika. You cannot bring Aupadika Beda here. That is the point he is making. Iti Shruta Prakashika. Shruta Prakashika is raising this point. Now, even that is not correct. Ma evam, it is not in this manner. Why? Sarvasyapi satta anubhavayatta eva iti sthite katham uchyate anubhavasya sattha jnatra jnaya ayatta iti. See, what we are saying, all existence itself is dependent on anubhava. Correct? or samvit, not the other way around. He is saying samvit's existence is dependent on the knower and the known. We are saying the other way around. Everything's existence is dependent on samvit, our consciousness, correct? It is all anubhava ayat. Unless you experience something, you don't know its existence, correct? So unless you know it is there, how can you even say it exists? Other than whatever is self-revealing, nothing else is self-existent, correct? They are all dependent on something, that the consciousness to become evident and also reveal their existence. So he is putting it the other way around. In fact, you have put the cart in front of the horse, really, the Purva Pakshi. So we are saying, Anubhava ayatta eva iti stite sarvasyapi katham uchyate anubhavasya satta jnatru jnaya ayatta iti. So anubhavasya satta cannot be dependent on jnatru jnaya. It is the other way around. Therefore, what iti na hi anubhavam vina kinchit vastu sattam pratipadyate. Without the anubhava, the existence of any vastu cannot be established. It is not possible. Otherwise, you can say what anyata shasha shringadihi api san syat andakare sannapihi ghata anubhava bhave asanneva bhavati iti. Okay, then if without anubhava you can establish something, then even hairs on should be there, or even in darkness, without seeing the pot, you have to say pot existence has been established. Okay, without anubhava, you cannot say that. Okay, once we say this, they come back and say no, no, this only in the pratibhasika what you say is true. What about vyavahara? So he is coming back, he is saying, nanu pratitikasya rajju sarpadehe ajnata satta ayogat astu nama anubhava adhina satta. Okay, only for the pratibhasika. Pratitikasya means here pratibhasika, like the rope snake. For them, this ajnata satta is not there. If you don't know, also if it is there, you cannot say, correct? That is the ajnata satta yoga. Let it be there, okay? And therefore it is anubhava adhina. So whatever you experience, only at that time it is there. But anyasya satta tu na anubhava adhina. But for all other things like pot, etc., their existence is not dependent on or consciousness or experience, anubhava. But what pratyuta vishayadhina eva anubhava. But in this case, the anubhava is dependent on the vishaya. He is saying vishayadhinaha eva anubhava vishaye gatadau satyeva chakshushaha tasya cha sannikarshe sati ghata pratyaksham jayate iti. So the vishaya has to be there, and then the pramana, chakshush, etc., has to be there, and there has to be a indriyartha sannikarsha, correct? The contact between the sense organ and the sense object, then the sense perception takes place, and therefore that only shows that there is anubhava. And therefore the anubhava is now dependent on this chakshush and the chakshush vishaya. So how can you say this is not true? What you say is only applicable for pratibhasika. If you say that iti chet ma evam, this also we cannot accept. Why? Kim ghatadau vishaye sati eva indriyartha sannikarshat pratyaksha jnana matram jayate iti uchyate yadva pratyaksha prama. So now we are making a difference. See, can you say always that when the indriyartha sannikarsha is there, then only pratyaksha jnanam takes place? Can you say that? Or you say valid knowledge takes place? Because we are now making a difference between jnana matram, means it can be even brahma, correct? It can be even erroneous cognition. You are saying perceptual cognition itself requires indriyartha sannikarsha or valid pratyaksha, valid perception, correct? Perception can happen even without indriyartha sannikarsha, correct? That is the point. Even in dream you have perception. You have perception of things which are not there really, rope, snake, etc. So you cannot say the first one is not possible. Na adhyaha vai swapne ghataadi abhavepi indriya abhavepi tat sannikarsha abhavepi ghataadi pratyaksha sambhavat. So ghataadi pratyaksha is happening in swapna when all these three are not there. There is neither indriya nor vishaya nor sannikarsha. Still it is there. And na dvitiyaha, even for prama also. Why? Because what we are saying, prama, how do we define prama? I think even Vishishtadvaitins accept this. Anadigata abaditvam, abaditatvam has to be there, correct? Any prama, any valid knowledge should not be negated and it should reveal something new to me. Anadigatam and abaditam. But what we say is, even all the pratyaksha jnanam, whatever you say, vyavahara also is badita only really. Therefore, they all of them can never be taken as prama itself. So, anadigata abaditartha vishaya jnanasya pramatvat brahma bhinnasya baditarthatvatcha ghatadi jnanasya apramatvat. So, we say that anything other than Brahman, they are all negated by the Shruti. Shruti Pramana comes and negates the very existence of all these things. So they are all Baditartha only. So this Anadigata Abaditam, like that, whatever we define, that is not applicable for anything other than Brahman. Brahman alone is Anadigata Abadita Artha, and also that Jnanam, Brahma Jnanam alone can be really true then. Correct? None of the other Jnanam really qualifies for this. Therefore, all Ghatadik Jnana also is not Prama, we say. Ghatadik Jnanasya Apramatva. Once we say this, what now they say, no, what Vyavahara is there. So in Vyavahara, to do Vyavahara, you see something, you go somewhere else, you don't see it. Again, you come back, it has to be there. And you do Vyavahara with that, correct? Based on that something is existing and all that. So he is now bringing that as an argument. He is saying, Nacha Yavad Vyavaharam Abhaditatvam Abadita Padena Vivakshitam iti. Now here he is saying, no, the definition of Prama is that the Abaditam is not like what you are saying. At least till the time you do Vyavahara, it is there, correct? That is the meaning of that. Yavad Vyavahara, till the time Vyavahara is there, it is not negated. And because it is not negated only, you are able to do Vyavahara. If you say this, what even again for this we bring Swapna. So that also you can't say. Na vachyam vai swapnika padarthasyapi yavad vyavaharam abaditatvat. So even in Swapna, you are doing Vyavahara and it is not Badita. Whatever Vyavahara you do, you are doing, but that doesn't make it any real, correct? So Vyavahara is not a Prayojaka here. Vyavahara cannot be used as a basis to arrive at whether something is valid or not. You can't do that. So Swapnepihi Vyavahara, in Swapna also Vyavahara is there. So, but once we say this word, no, Swapna Vyavahara is different, he is saying. Nacha Astira Vyavaharaha Swapne iti Vachyam. So in the Swapna, there is no Sthira Vyavahara, he is saying. Means it is not consistent or continuous. Okay, it is Astiram. It is all not very consistent, or it is, what do you say? Sthirata is not there. Means what he is saying is Vyavaharagata Sthiratva Astiratva Bhedasya Tad Vishaya Abaditatva Baditatva Aprayojakatva. Again, what we are saying is Stiratvam Astiratvam and all is not a Prayojaka, or it is not whether something is valid or not, is not dependent on whether it is consistent or continuous and all that. Okay. So that's not a Prayojaka for Badita and Abadita. So whatever you are saying, Stiratvam, Astiratvam, that doesn't matter. Even if we concede that dream is not, of course, waking experience is more continuous, correct? Because I say, I am awake, I slept, I dreamt, I am awake, like that. There is a sthirata is there, continuity is there. But in dream, it is not there, you say. While dreaming, you don't know the other two states. And then once you get up, dream is not true and all that. We can appreciate that. But similarly, you cannot say for waking. Here the vyavahara is sthira vyavahara, means that is not a factor in determining this. Okay, so that's not a prayojaka. Why? Kimu shatayushaha purushasya iva dashayushaha purushasyapi vyavahara badhitatvam na sambhavati tasmad yatha स्वप्न दशायां विषयेन्द्रिय भावेन विषयेन्द्रिय सन्निकर्षा भावेपि विषय प्रत्यक्षं जायते तथा जागरेपि इति संतोष्टव्यम्. Okay, see, depending on the age of somebody and all that, can we determine if somebody is living for 100 years, somebody is living for only 10 years, let us say. Because of that, he is not, is that in Vyavahara Abhaditvatvam he will get or what? Everybody, whether you die after 10 years or you live for 100 years, it doesn't matter. You are still a mortal. You are not going to become immortal just because somebody is living for a longer time. So that is the point he is raising. We'll continue this in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.
धन्यवाद.
Yeah.